to Pages of Another World. I'm Keaton Thompson, and today I'm going to be talking about the first book in the Wings of Fire series. I just love this series. It's honestly really great. It starts out in a cave, and they're free very much, and they have to escape, and then they get caught by Queen Scarlet, and then they get free, and then they have to go to the Mudwing for Clay. But their life in the cave Kestrel was pretty mean to him, and Webbs, he taught him history, he taught him hunting, he taught the geography of Pyria, and then Dune, I think Dune actually did hunting. I think so. In the beginning, they're in combat training with Kestrel, and she's being a little rough with Clay at first, and then Tsunami comes in and just steps up to her side, and they start joking around. Oh no, Kestrel's gonna be mean to you. Oh no, I've never seen Kestrel mad. But I like how they at least had a river, and then it was an interesting way that the author brought out an unusual way to escape, and they're actually forced to escape whenever they chain up Tsunami and keep her away from the river, because Morosir came and was kind of judging them, and they were all, they're so mean, they're messing with the prophecy wrong, and then they get upset about it because they're the ones having to raise them. And I like how they're forced into this kind of destiny, but also they don't really have to. But anyways, I like the life in the cave. It's pretty cool. But also I like how Morosir tested them by coming in and saying something's gone horribly wrong or something like that, and then they have to attack him, and it was apparently a test. Well, I guess Glory failed it because she didn't even try to attack him, because she knew because they thought she's just a lazy ringling. But no, it really gives you a different look on things, a different aspect to. It's like some things look, they're not very useful and important whenever you see them, but they actually end up being really important stuff. Kind of like Moon, but also then they're forced to escape, and they immediately find a beach. Clay gets happy because he's in mud. He's a mudwing. And then they see their first scavenger, or human. It's carrying like a bag of treasure and stuff. And then they get the bag from him and suss it open, and it's got all kinds of treasure and jewels and other stuff like that. And it actually belongs to Queen Scarlet, I guess. And she gets mad because she's like, you don't know who I am? How do you not know who I am? You're in my territory. And then she actually starts going up to Clay and saying basically, hey, we're allies. But she starts approaching him as if she's going to attack him. And then, surprisingly, there's like a giant sword for a scavenger or human size sword, a giant one for that kind of sword. And then Tsunami grabs it and stabs her in the tail. That was actually kind of cool. I liked that about it. I liked that part. And then they find the smoke signal from Sunny, Glory, and Starflight, because they were told to do that so that they could find they found the cave, they opened the boulder, or they open the doorway or something, and then they start cheering and stuff, like, yeah, we did it. And then when Scarlet comes in with her troops and stuff, and they just basically capture the Dragonets of Destiny, and then they take him to the Sky Kingdom. But also, Kestrel is a fugitive for Scarlet, and Dune, she just snaps his neck, and Webbs, Kestrel was telling him, uh, go warn the Talons, go tell the Talons and stuff, because he needed to get to the Talons of Peace, which is what they were, and that they needed to rescue the Destiny Dragonets. But you don't really see him. You see more of Seer come in at the last moment when Starflight is supposed to fight in Scarlet's arena. But then they get taken to the Sky Palace, where they're on these giant pillars, and they're on these giant pillars, and their wings are clamped, their necks are clamped where they've got a rope attached to it, and they're basically just stuck there. But they're basically stuck there because their wings are clamped, so they can't fly. They can't just jump. And even if they found out a way to like burn off the clamps and stuff, that would really hurt their wings. Like really hurt them, because their wings, they're not as strong as their body. I mean, even Clay, with him being from a blood red egg and having fireproof scales, but that would still hurt because it's your wings. They don't have scales, but also their wings are basically just a really thin layer of skin and stuff like that, because it's supposed to be lightweight to catch the wind so they can actually fly. So they can't get those off, and then they can't get their thing off because it would just end up hurting them. But then Peril comes in and sees Clay and says, "This will be fun to fight and kill you, because I've never fought a Mudwing before." And that didn't really happen because they fought, because she fought for Kestrel, her mother, actually, and they didn't really. I mean, nobody won. Nobody won. Yeah, that. I mean, it's a lot when you think about it. And then they go to the Mud Kingdom, just down the river, and they see this battlefield where Mudwings and Icewings were fighting, because in the prologue it shows Clay's siblings, Summer, Marsh, Reed, one other person, I think, and they had to retreat and run back into the forest and stuff because the Icewings were just winning, and they were probably outnumbered too. But they were also ambushed, I think. And then they go to the Mud Kingdom. They see that battlefield where they had to retreat from, down the river, the Delta River. Well, Clay had to go in because Tsunami couldn't go in, because she was a Sea Wing, and the Sea Wings were on Blister's side. Still, Starflight couldn't go in because Morrowseer and the Nightwing still had them. Well, still had him. And then Sunny couldn't really go in because they needed someone to watch Tsunami too, but also they didn't know what people would think of Sunny because she's a Sandwing. She could be on Burn's side and on Blaze's side, but she also didn't have a bard, and they just didn't take Sunny. But Glory, nobody would really care about the Rangers because they're not in the war. Well, they're not in the war. So Glory goes with him, disguised as a Mudwing, and they ask one of the generals, and uh, and he said, and they're asking him, where is Godmother's house and place and stuff, because they didn't know about siblings and stuff. So they went there, and then they realized he got sold for 2 cows, and that's not very much for dragons. That's not very much food. They probably just ate him for one meal. But then they're walking back and stuff, and Umber jumps in and says, you know about that blood red egg that was sold in our hatching? Did it hatch? Well, Clay told Umber that it was him, and he was actually supposed to be their big wings, not Reed. So, well, their big wings is the egg that hatches first, who is always the biggest. And then the first thing they do is they go around all the shells and start cracking their eggs open so that their siblings could come out. Because I don't think they're very patient when they're just newly hatched. But they realize, hey, we're siblings, and Amber's saying, we eat together, we hunt together, we play together, we fight together. And then he's like, oh, sorry. And that's when they mentioned that they lost Crane in the battle by the river. And Clay starts thinking, which one of those was my sister, Crane? He didn't know because there were so many out there. So many dead mudwings, so many dead ice wings. It was actually kind of crazy. And then they're heading back to the tree, or to Tsunami and Sunny, and and Starflight's back. So they come back, they're talking, and they realize, they mention that he was sold, his siblings are great, and then start talking, hey, Clay's are big wings and stuff. And then that is really the end of the first book, because there's not really much to really talk about with that on the part of it. I think that wraps up this episode today, and I hope you guys read more on Good Pods, maybe YouTube, maybe Amazon Prime, follow, and I guess that wraps this up. See you next time.